the new Parkway Theater, where good food, diverse entertainment, and community create a place for everyone. For showtimes and special events, check out thenewparkway.com. You are listening to High Score 510, where real talk is our vernacular.
I don't know if y'all knew this, though.
The Knights, why do you think they call them Knights? Because they were dark as night. They were dark. Beethoven was a black man. King James was a black man. Mozart was a black man. They paint over our images like Christ, like Moses.
I think I'm gonna start making a list of everybody that was apparently black. The kings, the pharaohs, the mermaids, the Vikings, the samurai, the Jews, the Native Americans, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Melanesians, Mozart, Shakespeare, Beethoven, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley. Hell, Eminem might just be doing whiteface at this point.
Hey, you know Adolf Hitler was black.
Joseph Stalin had a half-black dad. And Lenin, don't even get me started on Lenin. Why do you think that beard was nappy?
All right, well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to the High Score 510 podcast. You can catch us on the Instagram, the YouTube, and on the Twitter at High Score 510, and on TikTok.
If you follow Pedro's TikTok, it's called the TikTok
with 2 C's. Mm-hmm. Make sure you tap into our Black History Month Jeopardy special we put out last week. It was about a week late, but on time, as we like to say here at High Score 510. And we are here with...
this AG3 coming at you faster than Jack Frost heading out the door. Time changed this morning, and I'm excited. I love being back on this time. I don't know why we keep switching.
Here's your soundbite, AG3. It's a little boozy. Having a similar affliction of enunciation as you.
Because I was like, damn, this dude was disinflu fucking intro. I must influ fucking intro. That's what he was. When you influence people?
Influential.
Influ fucking issue. What you said?
Influential.
Influ fucking intro.
There you go.
That's what he was.
That's what it is.
Man, how you gonna compare me to this ignorant ass nigga, dude? Don't, I can't believe it. Start the show off this way.
Afflictions of enunciation. Here's your second soundbite, AG3. Since we didn't do any last week in the High Score 510 Black History Month Jeopardy Special 2025, we didn't do soundbites, so I got another one for you. Here you go. This one I think you'll appreciate. It's our homie Sugar Free.
Mm-hmm. So you got motherfuckers out here who can walk, talk, see, hear, and all that shit and still fucking nuts. Had the same amount of time in a day as Michael Jackson, but chose to be nobody.
At the same type of time of the day as Michael Jackson. Someone said this is a digital pimp slap.
That's our homie, friend of the show, Milt. And my name is Jared, aka DJ Art, with 2 T's for a double dose of that tink tink. The D is silent, so it's just Jart. Here's my soundbite. It's our friend Dr. Umar.
Oh, here we go.
I do not plan to cheat when I get married. I respect the institution too much. I know that one woman cannot help me hold down the movement I'm building.
You're gonna have shifts.
No. I'm not even gonna play this game of hiring a secretary who's gonna do all this work and sooner or later ain't gonna reap the benefits of being the secretary. I'm coming in honest and realistic.
Political.
Wife 1, wife 2, because my wives won't just be wives. They're gonna be workmates. We're working, we're building. So this ain't just let's just go to the honeymoon and let's go to the vacation. No, we gotta serve the people.
Well, why not 3 or 4?
Because I will not be able to be emotionally available to 3 or 4 the way that they deserve. And so I'm not going to put those women in that situation. So how can you say that
with 2 the same way with 2?
Because 2 ain't difficult at all.
Let me tell you this ninja need to focus on getting 1.
I think he got married. I think he did get married.
He need to focus on 1.
Are there any types of African bunnies? That's the question.
Yep, Jollof bunnies. That represent about 5 countries right there. Injera bunnies.
Okra bunnies.
Okra bunnies.
All right. Well, I guess we'll wait till we'll see when Captain Keyfunk gets back on here and do his intro. Oh, I actually have a second soundbite for myself. Here we go.
So Greenland has a major military facility that's there to help protect NATO and Europe in case of a foreign attack from, well, Russia, basically. And Canada, well, Canada has the rights to this bunch of oil and natural gas reserves, as well as the maritime routes for them. And Putin wants those demolished. Now, Panama currently has sanctions against Russian vessels traveling through the Panama Canal. So when Donnie is talking about all three of these places, it's on behalf of Vlad. Just like everything that he's done since he was bailed out by Russia in the 80s after he lost all of his daddy's money in bankrupt hotels and casinos in Atlantic City. See, those of us that have been paying attention and that read about history know this shit. And we've seen this coming for a long time. Now, MAGA is the brainchild of Vlad. And Donnie is his puppet. And all of you suckers that voted for him have done nothing more than give him more power to Russia and turn this country over to them. The United States is now weaker and more vulnerable because of you. You know, sometimes I wish I was as stupid as all you MAGAs so I could live my life in total ignorant bliss thinking that Daddy Donnie's just gonna make everything better for me. Y'all are a bunch of soft, whiny little bitches. Fuck the fascists. Do not comply.
All right, send that to Nathan. Not even in the group, just straight to Nathan.
In news this week, Donald Trump announces tariffs on Canada and Mexico, our closest neighbors and allies. A couple days later, he announced a pause on the tariffs as the stock market began to dip even worse than it already had.
It's crumbling.
Egg prices have gone up, and he basically reposted a tweet saying, "Shut up about egg prices." What do you think about DT, Donald Trump, and his economic tariffs and economic plan so far?
DT runs the country about as well as I thought DC would run the country.
DT, dirty troglodyte.
No. DT, Donald Trump, run the country about as well as I thought DC would run it, which is Donald Cormier. Who I wouldn't trust Donald Cormier to plug in my blender.
You talking about Daniel Cormier?
Whatever it is.
Daniel Cormier is actually pseudo and semi-intelligent for a fighter.
I would not trust him to plug in my blender.
You know, it's a little bit concerning that he continues to threaten these and then pause them and then threaten them and pause them. And it's starting to feel like a big show to distract us from other things. What do you think about that?
He's just an idiot, Jared. That's the best way of putting it.
I think the most concerning thing about it is, you know, these are our closest neighbors and allies. So, you know, this is what I worry about, is that Donald Trump sees it as U.S. needs to exert its world power or its power on the world to either maintain or to reclaim some form of, you know, power and legitimacy. But, you know, I think our greatest strength has been our military and the fact that nobody wants to go to war with us. So like, that's like our biggest leverage when it comes to, you know, international economic, you know, power. So with that, he's like, well, what's the greatest thing I can do? What's our greatest thing? What's our greatest asset? Well, I'm gonna leverage that against everybody. And that's what I feel is coming up and pushes us further towards war or conflict, engage our military. And me, as somebody, ideally don't think we should be spending a lot less on our military, but I also understand its historical relevance. So it's like one of those things where we are part of an empire. And we'd like to think that we are part of a moral empire, but at the same time, you know, with what we've seen in our own government and understanding the history of a lot of things we've done in other countries, we are not part of that experiment anymore, or we have not been part of that experiment. So I think we're in trouble. We're about to see World War III. He said it out loud. You are playing with World War III, Mr. Ukraine man. Shout out to JD Vance for being a complete cuck and not being able to say he's ever been to Ukraine. I hate that motherfucker. I hate all these motherfuckers get on my nerves. Anyways,
where the hell is Pedro?
I don't know. I think something happened. You know, Pedro probably had something happen. He probably.
Man, I was on mute. I was talking the whole time. I said something Zelensky didn't have on a suit.
Yeah, Zelensky was not wearing a suit, which he's never worn. It's like, personally, I don't mind if my political elected leaders, maybe not like that dude, that big bald dude that end up just being a complete Zionist from whatchamacallit always wears a hoodie and basketball shorts. That dude.
I think this stuff is done by
Fetterman,
design.
John Fetterman. Fuck
John
that guy.
Fetterman.
John Fetterman. No, I don't want him to be dressed like a bum or like a dude that ain't got a job or one of those parents who take AAU basketball too seriously. I want him to come dressed as though, you know, he's somebody that is humble and modest and doesn't need to spend money and is thoughtful with how they, you know, dress nice, dress well, but you don't need to be wearing a goddamn suit. I think a suit can be considered a wasted expense.
Isn't he disabled?
John Fetterman, he's battled cancer. He could put on a fucking suit, or he could put on some slacks and a button up. He could put on, you know what I'm saying, some kind of nice pants that are that don't look like, you know, he just got them from Costco. That's all I'm saying. He wears shorts and flip flops at the time of damn near look like Aaron.
Wait, isn't he disabled?
Excuse me, I got something in my eye. Get it the fuck out your eye, you blind motherfucker. Roll the dice.
Oh, Captain P-Funk is here, and we are here with
everybody's favorite recession captain, Mr. P-Funk's in the house. It's no longer captain. Doge took away my credentials.
He took away his credentials. He's down to staff sergeant.
All right, well, here's your soundbite, Captain P-Funk. Your type of misogyny.
One drunk man is more intelligent than 3 women with PhDs.
Thank you so much.
That's
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's
Stop talking to him soon as he said that.
Oh, by the way, I listened to the Dr. Umar get down, and I agree with him. Two women is probably good enough to build and have a family build. And I bet you, I'll bring Joy in here and she'll tell you she needs.
He wasn't talking about a family, Pedro. He was talking about running his business.
That's true. Because Joy is not helping me at all.
I'm fighting for my life.
All right, here's your other soundbite, Captain P-Funk, for one of your favorite orators.
So, this is a biblical moment. You know, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do. All these Negroes who are asking me to step down, God, forgive them. Are you stupid?
Hey, Joe, Jared, play that again. I got to listen to people in the background. Because they were hollering stuff. And
that was New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who rolled over and let the Trump administration pat his belly so they could make his charges go away.
This is a biblical moment.
Biblical moment.
Mm-hmm.
Give us control of your state troopers and everything.
You know, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Mm-mm.
All these Negroes who are asking me to step down, God, forgive them.
You better tell him. You better tell somebody.
They beating him up. They blazing him up.
Are you stupid?
Eric, we don't taking names, Jared. He taking names. I don't care how he did it. He taking names.
In continued political news, Trump addressed Congress this week and highlighted all the things him and Elon Musk is telling him to do. He also focused on transgender mice.
$8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
What do you guys think about that?
Did you put tits on the mice?
Is this post-op or pre-op transgender mice? Because that makes a difference.
This dude just an idiot, man. It's just crazy.
Can they put a BBL on the mouse?
It's just crazy when people listen to him when he say stupid shit like this and believe him. That's what get me, when people believe him.
It's not just him. He's taking this stuff. This is stuff that's coming from the right-wing conspiracy theorists. They do cross-sex studies and all this stuff. Yes, that's in government. But all studies, if you study everything, that's how you keep from having COVID, you asshole.
That's how you get from COVID, measles. I mean, all kind of stuff. Think about this.
That's how you stop the measles.
Exactly. Shit's coming back.
Yes.
That was eradicated. It's coming because these fools will get rid of the studies and be like, next thing you know, some of us we gonna start getting shit that you ain't never heard in years, man. Oh man, I'm sorry, man. I got the Black Plague.
No. It's not them getting rid of the study. It's the people talking about. Listen to conspiracy theories talking about. Oh no! Don't give your kids those shots. This and that. They're gonna be autistic. They're gonna do this, and that. It's gonna happen, and they get the measles and die anyways. I mean, I don't know. What do you do?
Let's just say, conspiracy brother once told me that after the Anunnaki came down and mixed their DNA with the primates, they got a race that were too uppity, too smart, and rebelling against being controlled. So they created the Great Flood and dimmed out the world for 10,000 years, whatever it was. And then came back down and repopulated us with a little bit dumber and easier to control. They got their not best people to share the DNA with the primates. All right, not their highest. And so now we just got a lot more dumb people per capita.
I don't think that Atlantis sank. I think Atlantis lifted off.
And social media has even the playing field for dumb people to communicate, express, and, support each other. And I'm not saying that people are dumb, but I am saying that people are dumb because there's a lot of dumb people. So with that, you amplify the voice, the dumb people are able to find each other, unite, and have political power, or at least have political power that can be also, since they're dumb, easily more manipulated and pushed in a certain direction. So the real evil is social media, y'all. We don't need the dumb kids doing the read alouds. Leave that to the teacher. In sports news, the NBA is getting to that point of the season where teams are now basically going to be going into an all-out sprint for the playoffs or tanking. Tank season has officially commenced.
The lottery was supposed to keep teams from tanking, but then they kept changing it, and they changed it, and now they got to the point where it's just like you still worth it to tank. Yes, it's not a clear, but you get a better percentage chance if you're one of the worst three teams. Like before, it was just a lottery. You lost, you didn't make the playoffs. Everybody had one envelope in the thing. You turn it over and start picking. And so it didn't matter. If you weren't making the playoffs, you didn't have to tank. You just didn't
make the playoffs. Keeps it even so it doesn't reward, being bad. And I think that's something that, at least with the NFL, it's really hard for NFL teams to tank because there's so few games. But in the NBA,
and the players are playing for money too.
And the players don't have as many, don't have as well versed or as safe a contract because of the impacts of the sport and the way the sport can, debilitate you post career. Whereas the NBA, you just walk around like OJ the whole time. That's about it. But otherwise, NBA, you don't have that, and they have some of the best contracts. Yeah, I don't know what is to do to keep teams from tanking these days. I think that's something that is also part of the player empowerment movement. Is kind of part of that also. Is a reaction. It's an outgrowth, not directly from, but I think the teams tanking and doing that and making that a common practice, and doing just super business things started making the player empowerment movement a little bit more imperative for players as time went on.
No, the player empowerment movement, man, they came from a more entitled place by the time AAU started coming around.
I just think as teams when teams started actively making bad teams and tanking, it was like a business side of the sport where they were just these teams were making business decisions to try and leverage the now for the future in some way, maybe, possibly, or trying to get that best pick. When the Sixers tanked for several seasons, what I'm saying? Trust the process, right? That kind of stuff is well, if these teams are just going to unabashedly out there to be bad and not compete every year, that's reason for players to now say, hey, I need a little bit more control over my brand and a little bit more say so in how things go on some of these teams, because these teams have shown that they can just say, fuck it, we're blowing the whole thing up and we're just going to tank for a couple seasons.
But let's start off with the first team that tanked on purpose. The San Antonio Spurs to get to the done. I was the first team to tank. David Robinson, I heard the year before, he missed most of the season, came back. They went on a win streak, and they were like one of the worst teams in the NBA. They went on a win streak, and they just shut them down right after that.
Mm-hmm.
He played like 5 games, and he was not hurt. He didn't look hurt. He played well. He balled out, and I think they won like 4 of those 5, and they're like, no, we're going to shut them down.
Doctor said I need a back out of me.
Yeah, he didn't have no back. He already was coming off of back surgery. He looked fine. That was the first tank job. It had nothing to do with anything else. It had to do with them trying to get the best player in the draft. Nothing to do with players. That was in a different generation. I think. Okay, Jared, I get it. You're trying to tie it together. The shit don't tie together, man.
I think
being entitled is different from teams tanking. It's not the same shit. They're not 2 of the same coin. They're in the same. They're in the same currency, but they're not 2 of the same coin. They're 2 different things.
Well, I could see them. I could, it's that method.
I mean,
and
you're
that,
trying to connect those dots, but those dots don't connect.
well, it sent basketball, or it created a new lane in basketball that then is going to create other things as a reaction off of that. And I think that in that part of the player empowerment movement is a reaction, not necessarily directly just to that. It's multiple things. It's a confluence of all these different factors coming together. But I think that you seeing that out of teams where it's like before like the mid 90s is like teams like kind of just had their squads. It wasn't this like players are bouncing around. They're making these crazy trades all the time. I don't remember it being that way. I was a little younger.
Didn't ask.
Yeah.
Well, because players didn't ask. Players, they got drafted to the team and their whole thought was, I'm going to finish my career here.
Yeah. So the way players also, considered and played with their teams, these super teams came in the, mid 2000s, right? That's when you started really seeing super teams. Boom, 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 boom. It was right, Lakers got the old Gary Payton and your boy Carl Weathers.
That wasn't a super team. Those guys are old as fuck.
But it was thought of. I know
Malone was 40 years old.
I know that, but it was still thought of as like, man, we got 4 Hall of Famers in the starting 5. It's gonna be crazy. And they went to the finals.
They went to the finals. They lost to Detroit.
Yeah, they lost the final to Detroit.
But to me, that wasn't a super team. That was just a bunch of old ass hags on one team.
But that was like one of the first times where you saw like, boom, we got 4. And yes,
you didn't get 4 players in their prime, Jerry.
I know they weren't in their prime.
You had Shaq, you had Kobe, that was it. And then you had a bunch of players that's not in their prime. Fast forward.
But Shaq and Kobe was like maybe the most dominant duo.
Yes,
Anyways.
but that's not forming a super team. They got them the same year in 1996. One was in the draft and one was a free agent.
No, I'm just saying that
they Orlando Magic.
I'm just saying that they got those guys. Now I agree those guys were old, but on paper and the way everyone received it at that time was this team.
No, man.
You
as soon as
maybe
they made
didn't.
that trade, I was bitching.
I can tell.
Yeah,
you might have been bitching, but I'm telling you, the majority of people were like,
that wasn't a super team. No, I'm not going by majority of idiots who don't know how to watch basketball or were kids at the time. I'm going by people who had enough knowledge and intelligence to know that was not a super team. Now, fast forward to Boston in 09, that was a super team. That was our first super team right then. Nobody calls that Shaq and Kobe and Malone and Payton a super team, but they called it Boston. That was the first one.
Mm-hmm. That was the first super team. But the Lakers,
5 years after.
Trying to manufacture the Lakers and that Houston team when everybody was washed up on the Houston team. They tried to call that. They used to go back to super team.
That was before Barkley, Pippen, and all them old dudes. They were old too. No one calls the old dudes. It's about the guys going in their prime, Jared. Not the old.
Okay. Well, so you have Boston. 3 guys get together in the prime. Then you got LeBron and the Heatles. Since then, it's been kind of like,
Oh no! Don't be an ass now. You know the next one.
The Warriors.
You know the next one. You know the next one.
No. The next one was Cleveland, and
I mean, you can say Cleveland. I don't think they
Cleveland and then the Warriors.
I think Cleveland added a guy. Okay, they had Kyrie, who never made the playoffs.
Kevin Love was overrated. Kevin Love was
overrated.
Highly overrated.
He was a stat collector on a bad team. But don't forget, he added two people at that point that have never played in the playoffs. After the Cavs drafted Kyrie Irving, Jared, after LeBron left, the Cavs sucked. They drafted Kyrie Irving. Do you know they won the lottery 2 more times after that?
They drafted
with
Anthony
Kyrie
Bennett.
Irving. They drafted Andrew Wiggins and then Anthony Bennett. That tells you how shitty. Like Kyrie Irving is good but he wasn't a leader yet. He wasn't one of the best players in the league yet.
Yeah.
He didn't have an impact on the game yet.
He didn't. You told me he didn't learn. He didn't learn anything at Duke.
It wasn't like Trey. It wasn't like Trey Young.
That one year when Nolan Smith was the best player at Duke, and then they put him on the bench once Kyrie came back. I mean, if you want to call it a super team, go ahead. I think it's bad. I think it's not. It wasn't a super. That one I'm not going to argue. I would argue, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Then the next one was Kevin Durant joining the Warriors.
No, yeah, I think it was overshadowed by the Kevin Durant one. But like, I was like, people who said that LeBron getting with two other superstars at Cleveland wasn't creating a super team.
Let's be real. They were stars, but they weren't superstars.
But it's like you had three alphas from their teams coming together again. I think that's just the baseline.
We had an alpha that never made the playoffs.
I'm not saying, Aaron, we can
straight lotteries.
Aaron, we're talking about the perception though. Like Jerry West was smart enough to say, I'm not trading Klay Thompson for Kevin Love, and it was one of the smartest decisions they made, not trading Klay Thompson.
See, this is my issue with talking basketball, Jared. Either two things. Either they're unknowledgeable, right? They don't have the knowledge because of either age and just don't really watch enough basketball, right? Or know enough history of basketball. And then when I get around people like you who are knowledgeable, you can't move your fandom out the way. And your hatred towards certain players or your love for certain players.
I'm just saying that LeBron had
I can't have
no, that's a super team. The Warriors definitely had a super team.
I want to talk basketball the way people talk baseball. I love how like MLB Channel or just people period talk baseball. You can't talk basketball. No one talks basketball in the same way. And I feel like I'm hurting to talk basketball and I'm just jonesing and I can't find anyone that can talk basketball the way people talk baseball.
Well, the point wasn't about naming all the super teams. The point was about player empowerment stemming off.
No, you're trying to connect dots that don't connect. That's what the point was. And that's why we stuck talking about super teams, because you just proved my point. It's hard to talk basketball, people, because of this reason. And it's really hard. And you know what's worse than the people that's not knowledgeable is the ones that are knowledgeable. They can't leave their fandom behind.
What fandom am I not leaving behind?
Man, you ain't leaving none of them. You want to go ahead and paint the other super teams, paint the teams you hate as super teams. You're going to paint the Lakers, who had two fucking old-ass fogies on the team, as a super team, right? When that was a common practice that players who were aging out of their prime, far out of their prime, would join teams to try to add a little bit of leadership and things like that, right? Before we had the media blow up. I'll tell you this, you might be right. I'm not going to say you're wrong about perception, but I don't like going on perception because the perception in basketball is it's almost where football is now, right? It's so skewed.
Well, see, here's the thing. When I saw that team, when I saw the Lakers get Carl Weathers.
Karl Malone Weathers.
Yeah, Karl Malone Weathers and your boy, what's that nigga's name?
Gary Payton.
Gary Payton, yeah.
Who, may I add, he was traded just the year before to Milwaukee. And he went to Milwaukee and ruined that team, that young team. And he could not defend. I saw Willie Burton, yes, the name Willie Burton, light up Gary Payton for 45 just months before he ended up joining the Lakers.
Well, that's the thing. So
he had no defense left.
Yeah.
He had nothing in his game.
Oh, he's shooting threes. He was popping threes.
No. The most threes he ever made in a season came when they moved the NBA line, the three-point line in. Remember they moved it in for 2 seasons? That's when Michael Jordan had his most threes in his career, too.
Yeah, I saw Gary Payton shooting threes, and then he went to the Lakers and couldn't hit a three when y'all needed him to.
No, he couldn't hit a three.
See, that was the thing. He got kind of good at shooting threes because that's all he was shooting later in his career. And so it's like, oh man, he looking good for three now. He's dangerous from three now. And then he had a couple like solid seasons, or was perceived that he was like hitting threes. And then
how pissed I was that
all they needed him to do in LA was hit the threes that he got.
I'm gonna tell you a free agent that I wanted bad when they signed that idiot. I wanted PJ Brown, who was a free agent that year. I didn't want old ass Karl Malone. Do you know who the power forwards in the Western Conference in the beginning of their prime, in the right juicy part of their prime, was Tim Duncan, KG, Rasheed Wallace was, and then he kept getting traded. Chris Webber. It was like, dude, we're in the midst of this like power forward renaissance, and they were all in the Western Conference, right? And yet here the Lakers are going to sign old ass Karl Malone.
Yep.
It's like, dude, you need a defender. So yeah, the perception is from all these people that don't know shit about basketball, oh man, that's a super team. I was angry when that shit happened as a Laker fan.
Well, they were hyped up. ESPN didn't help with not making them seem like they weren't a super team, Aaron. That's the other part. Like, you got to remember, like, don't act like that. And so here's my point. Aaron. I can acknowledge the perception and be like, this is what is being, framed as. But I can also have my reservations, and I did have my reservations. I said this team is definitely flawed and can be taken advantage of. That's why I remember when they made it to the finals. I was like, Detroit's gonna win this. I was like fairly certain. I said Detroit in 5 or 6. I said maybe 6, but I said I think they can get them in 5. Hell, they could maybe even sweep them. I didn't think they could sweep them, but those first few games, like everything that you could do to take advantage of what the weaknesses were, these fools were like doing. And it was like one of those things where Shaq and Kobe made them seem almost invincible. And then you found a team that was coached a certain way, played a certain style, that like just was like that one thing that was their main weakness, and beat them. Nobody else could. That team was still really good, even though they were old. I did see like those fools are old. They're not the same players they once were.
You had Shaq and Kobe. That's what made it good.
No, anything with Shaq and Kobe. Well, that's the point, Aaron. It's like anything. Like I was like, Shaq and Kobe are still there. I don't doubt them doing anything. Like at that point, Shaq's the most dominant player I ever watched. So that's why I didn't doubt anything. You put anybody around them, they're a championship caliber team. They made it to the fucking finals.
That was also the year that Kobe had the rape trial in Colorado during that whole year.
Yeah.
That was like one of the most.
And they still made it to the finals. There's like all these other crazy things. They got old niggas.
You should read this book on it. It was the craziest year. It was the most dysfunctional.
You got
team.
Sasa Vucevic. Was he playing on that team that week, motherfucker?
Probably. I mean, you had Slava Mavadinko on the team. You had
it was Luke Walton's rookie year, I think.
It was a bad team. It was badly constructed. It was infighting. Kobe hated Carmelo because he hit on his wife.
He's also a pedophile.
He always was that.
Shout out to Derek Fisher, man. He came to the Warriors, man, and led them to doing nothing, man. Oh yeah. I was like, get to see him back rim mid-range jumpers. LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith courtside. He said, keep my son's name out your fucking mouth. Or something along those lines. And then immediately the next game, pulled his groin. Is this karma for LeBron getting distracted and being a douchey dad? Or is this all a conspiracy so LeBron can take a break from basketball, take the heat off this situation?
Atomic core ray. See what this so-called button does.
Come on, a conspiracy. Come on.
Oh, so you don't like LeBron? Is that what you're trying to say, Jared?
No. He liked them before the Warriors got good and started playing them. You should have heard Jared. This is why I say I can't have good objective basketball.
All that.
When LeBron joined the Heat, Jared had no problem. Jared had no problem. I was the one that was overreacting back then. Yeah. I was the one overreacting at how he went to the Heatles and how sickening it was. No problem, though. Jared had no problem until they met to the finals the year after he left the Heatles and they meet up with the Warriors. The Warriors still had no problem. And then it became a problem the next year when they met for 2 years in a row and then LeBron won.
I don't have a problem with LeBron.
Every millennial Warrior fan who told me for 4 years, Pedro, that I was wrong. Can I tell you this, Pedro? For 4 years, every millennial Warrior fan, most of them tied to Jared. Most of them tied friends to Jared. Told, Aaron, no, you're overreacting. That's player empowerment. Then they start bringing up stupid shit about like not having a draft anymore. And players should be able to go where they want to go and stupid shit. I was so wrong. And until LeBron met up with the Warriors in the finals, this is why I say it's hard to talk basketball.
I have no issues with LeBron James. I'm just asking the question.
It's hard to talk basketball. I will say this. Pedro, move the goddamn mic close to your mouth. Every time your first 4 words you speak come out so damn low.
I don't know why this mic.
I don't think
falling.
I don't know if it's the mic or it's just I don't know what's going on.
It's the mic. It keeps dropping like that.
Yeah, you gotta keep that shit. Or you keep eating, nigga.
Keep moving it to put that goddamn fried fish in your mouth. And grits. I believe what Nick
No,
Wright
hold on.
said.
I feel like I'm being
Nick Wright said
accused of
LeBron was the most scrutinized athlete ever.
He
and
is scrutinized, for
every
sure.
Warrior fan hopped back on that subject.
No,
They were the ones fighting for LeBron. Every millennial Warrior fan was fighting for LeBron.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm being lumped in with something that I don't think I was saying. You know what? For me, I don't think LeBron deserved to be treated the way he was in certain ways when he made his decision. These teams do what they want. Like, he's at a pivotal point. If he doesn't do what he does, maybe he stays in Cleveland and makes the same amount of money and becomes a billionaire, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that the way he went about it, yes, it was a little bit much. It was pomp and circumstance, but at the same time, it raised funds for a Boys and Girls Club, and he went to a team that he wanted to go to. He went to go play somewhere he wanted to go to, and I it did kind of mess up the power balance of basketball. So I get it, but at the same time, like, I didn't see anything wrong with it. Now, am I a hater of LeBron the way some other Warrior fans are? No, I don't think I am. I like LeBron overall. When I coach, I talk about LeBron James. So, like, I admire LeBron James as a player, as a person. To go from, I saw something where he was on 106 in Park, saying in 2003, whatever, being interviewed. And it was like young LeBron. It's like, man, he's really like, you've seen the evolution of him. So I can appreciate it, man. I got a lot of respect for LeBron James.
I don't understand. Why was it karma? Because he wanted to protect his son that has no talent.
Well, that's the question. Well, I guess my question is the karma, because when I saw that happen, I said, why are you doing that right there, LeBron? Don't do that, man. I was like, now something bad gonna happen. I was just like, something bad gonna happen, because he broke professionalism. He was at work and decided to confront him and have a very heated, animated expression towards him, right? And to some degree, like what Stephen A. Smith said, I would have flown to him. I would have met him gladly, and he could express that to me. It was not my place there. I was not going to get in an argument with him there, a confrontation with him there. And it's like, Stephen A. Smith was there as a guest of other people, was courtside. Your son is a political figure now. We can get more into that. But aside from that, for me, because he's also on my fantasy team, I was like, man, this ain't good news. And then the next day, what happened? Motherfucker pulled his groins, injured for the next 2 weeks. Fantasy playoffs is coming. So I'm just saying, I felt the omen arising when he did this shit, and it played out exactly the way I worried about. Now, about his son, do you think LeBron was right or wrong to defend his son?
So, Jared, let me explain it to you this way. And I can get way deeper, but I'm not. So you think because he did something that it's bad to do in other people's eyes, so he's going to get bad karma goes against you. Look, I'm a good person. I grew up a Christian, and I got married to Joy. That's bad karma. I'm a good person. I don't even drink. Look at all the bad stuff that happened to me. I can get way, way deeper. That has nothing to do with it. Y'all stop talking about karma. Look at Trump. Trump does everything evil in the world he possibly can. President 2 times.
That's true. That is true. I don't know, man. It just worried me. But do you think LeBron... Thank you for dispelling the karma argument. Now to the conspiracy side now. Do you guys think that this is fair game for LeBron to defend his son in that manner at that moment? Or do you think it was a poor decision on his part?
Pedro, let Pedro go first. He's a father.
I don't really take care of these kids though. But as a father here, if you put, for instance, if I was to put my son who has autism on the internet and go by day to day, hey, he's improving in this way, he's improving in that way. How can he do this? How can he learn how to, maybe manage his potty training, or how can he eat better? And I put all this stuff on the internet, and somebody was critical of me or him eating bad on the internet. Shouldn't I expect that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't the world's a crazy place. You didn't coach your son knowing, hey, everybody's coming after you now. You're my son. They're going to be expecting this on these levels. We got all these pundits. We got podcasters. We have everybody. he didn't prepare his son for that. So as a father, yeah, take up for your kid. I don't even know what Stephen A. Smith said. He was talking about I heard it about the 76er game. Yeah, Maxie lights up everybody. So he got lit up that night. He's not that good. He's not that good at all. Maybe he's going to develop into that player. Who knows? But from what I've seen, the eye test, watching him, only one that look like they can play on that family is Bryce.
Well, you also don't want him to be like Austin Rivers, where he got nepo babied into the NBA, and he was a top talent.
He was a little better.
He was a top talent.
Rivers was an All-American.
I know. I'm just saying.
He had enough to be on.
I'm just saying that.
Now, maybe his father kept him around a little bit, picking him up.
He was nepo babied a little bit, but he was baller. I give his credentials.
Yeah, he had credentials in college.
I'm okay being a nepo kid because white people do it all the time. So I'm glad black people are doing it now.
But you see,
all praises do.
But see, he got nepo babied in a way that was a little bit more like he had a little more credit to his name, but at the same time, like he wasn't scrutinized and he didn't become better. He was just a dude who was just like, I'm good enough to be on an NBA team. My dad's a coach, so if I always fall back on him signing me, right? So there's that. But with Bronny, it's like, hey man, he's getting scrutinized. He's gonna either figure out how to get better. It might fuel him. Like ideally, like this is also the thing. This criticism of players in these days, and this is part of another outlet of player empowerment, is that, saying players have a stronger voice to speak back and clap back about stuff. But I think criticism is something that like is a natural component to sports, to competition. Being critical of your opponent, being critical of your own team and product and how you play, because it's competition. There's a winner and a loser. You need to be critical on ways that you can improve or what you need to be better at. Otherwise, you will lose because your opponent is actively trying to find what that is. So I think this could be better for LeBron or for Bronny. Bronny goes through the fire. You go through the media fire, you refine yourself, you get better. And hopefully that motivates you to like continue to work on your game. Be worthwhile. Don't just rest on your dad's, name. And I think he might turn into like a good little defensive guard. Maybe he could turn into like a Dennis Schroeder type.
Yeah, he actually has some good plays.
With defensive upside.
He does need to learn how to shuffle his feet a little better. I feel like sometimes he's flat-footed, and I don't know if that's because of him trying to get back in the mix of things, but we've seen players in the NBA go to the G League and look like, crap, and they turned out to be good. Not like Scoop Henderson. I don't know what his problem is.
Yeah.
That prospect. Yeah, he was way overrated. That dude
overrated. Should have went to college to learn a little bit more about the game. Yeah. The problem is, notice all these players that go straight to ever since they were like, oh, instead of going to college, we had that G League Ignite team that takes all the high school players, right? That don't want to go to college, so they can get a contract, become pros. Have you noticed they all none of them reach their potential? They don't get any kind of coaching. It's like an NBA junior, like, oh, this is how we play in the NBA. Be selfish, right?
I guess my other question about NBA is which number one seed in the NBA, in the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, do you think has the best chance of cashing in on the one seed and making it to the finals? The OKC Thunder, who are umpteen games ahead, or the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are umpteen games ahead?
The one seed is just going to be the one seed. I don't think nobody's taking it.
Nobody's taking the one seed, yeah. But which team do you think has the best chance to actually make it to the finals?
Oh, to beat them? You know what I like? I think in the East is Boston. I don't think I don't see Cleveland making that jump to beat Boston. Boston kind of owned them this year. Knicks haven't been able to beat one of the top teams. In the West, it's a little more open between Denver, OKC, the Lakers. I think, any of those, if the Lakers can stay healthy, if LeBron comes back healthy and not miss a beat, then they're definitely a contender for it. I don't think Houston's this their first year in the playoff. They'll have to do some losing first before. That's just the way basketball works.
I do think it's Oklahoma City because they play a little bit. They got a lot of length. So they got 2 7-footers that are rangy, And they also have a bunch of 6'7" Negroes with long arms and get in those passing lanes and stuff. Now that's how the Bulls won a lot of their championships. They had a lot of rangy dudes, man. They could guard 2 through 5. I see the same thing with OKC right now after watching them today. Looks like they're growing. They had to go through the growing pains. If Shea Gildress, I guess his new nickname is Shea Butter. If Shea Butter can get that Drake Canadian soul out of his system and play like a real Negro, YN, if he can play like one of them YNs and bring some of that heart, you can easily see OKC, getting over the top. But, to play the Celtics are also rangy. They have a bunch of streaky players. They also play defense, but they're players. They have, I think if Jason Tatum can get any shot he wants, if he learns how to play a little dark-skinned. If he played like Jaylen Brown played last. Like Jaylen Brown played last final.
Jaylen Brown played like he got a little dog in him. He might be a smart Negro that lectures at MIT and play chess, but he got dog.
Yeah, he got street nigga in him. So if Jason Tatum can do that,
that nigga intelligence.
So if he can do that,
Jaylen Brown, man, he was president of the chess club. Motherfucker wrote 1 paper in college. Didn't take it more than fucking 2 classes.
Aaron is adamant. That's one of Aaron's triggers. Is anybody talk about Jaylen Brown's intelligence?
I was at college. I worked in the College of Letters and Science. I seen what athletes, how many classes they really take, right? Especially ones that stay there for 1 year. He wasn't even there a whole year. He did 1 year. He did 1 basketball year of college. By the time he announced he's ready for the draft, he was gone from school. He basically went to school for 1 fucking semester. But we act like he's some goddamn Rhodes Scholar. We act like he's that safety from Florida State who was All-American and then went over to Oxford on that like genius grant, right? Like that dude was intelligent. There's a bunch of dudes that play for football, and there's a bunch of other dudes that are intelligent. And I'm not saying Jaylen Brown's not dumb or anything, but we overrate it, dude. That's like saying Dr. Umar's the biggest black leader, best black leader we ever had.
Stephen A. Smith, I sentence you to 4,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man. Michael Wilbon, you fat, bald-head, no-neck midget, I sentence you to 3,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man. Snow Bunny Shannon Sharp, you're the biggest and strongest of everybody on the list, so I'm going to have to sentence you for 10,000 lashes for conduct unbecoming a black man and saying that no black woman can make you happy. 10,000 lashes for Snow Bunny Shannon Sharp.
NFL free agency / cuts have been happening, and there's a couple notable signings and whatnot going on. The Los Angeles Rams signed Davante Adams to 1 year. What do you guys think about that?
I'm not totally happy, man.
Does he still got something left in the tank?
This is my biggest problem. It ain't even about what's left in the tank. Because if you look at, like, Cooper Kupp had the injuries. He's become injury prone. He's lost some speed. Is Davante Adams a slight upgrade over Cooper Kupp? Yes, maybe, probably. That's not even my issue. My bigger issue is Davante Adams is a very selfish player, and the Rams don't have a selfish. They're not a team that's built around like a player being selfish and saying, "Give me the ball and my greatness," and always talk about himself. So the Rams offense causes you to have to be unselfish and play. I don't know. I just hope he's lost that unselfishness. That's all I hope.
Like you said, if he has to block.
You got my spot right there? There's medicine.
So if he has to block and do all the stuff the Rams are doing, he's not going to fit in with that. If he can play the slot If they let him play the slot, let him freelance or whatever, he'll be okay. Hopefully he has a little bit of a change of heart, but he's gonna have to hit a couple of people because that's part of their offense. Unless they're gonna change their offense up. You know what? We gotta see what they do in the draft. Maybe they do change the offense.
I don't think they're gonna change that for Devontae Adams, though.
Not for Devontae Adams, but if you get some athletic tight ends and maybe you can do different things.
Yeah,
and you can have him keep him on the outside. That's the only place he's going to be good is on the outside. He's not going to crawl. He's going to go crossing pattern. He's going to the roll, all that stuff to the sideline because he's getting older.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on him to want to get more physical as his career progresses, but he might have to play into that to maintain. In other news, the Raiders traded for Geno Smith. He is going to be a Raider, which means good news or bad news for the Raiders.
Geno Smith has been finding people. He's been in the playoffs.
Smith is what you used to call him.
Negro Smith. That's before he didn't. It took him a while to grow up.
He got whitewashed in Washington. He got whitewashed.
If you grow up and you playing cards with the linebackers and you talking shit to the linebackers about, I'm not paying you anything.
Mm.
He was an ignorant nigga. That's how you can tell when you a nigga. That's why I call him Negro Smith.
But he's outgrown that.
Enough. Yeah, he's outgrown that. So
do you guys think Geno Smith elevates the Raiders to potentially, knocking on that door for the playoffs next season?
Yeah. He puts them in contention for a playoff. I will give him that.
Do you think they'd be in better contention if they had accepted the rumored trade of DK Metcalf and Geno Smith for Max Crosby?
Yeah, I think they'll be in better contention. They have both of them, but they still be all right. They still in a decent place.
Also, DK Metcalf was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yep, Pittsburgh Steelers.
That means they're going to get Mr. Unlimited, one of his former teammates.
You know what? Are they re-signing Mr. Unlimited? Because don't forget, he only had a 1-year contract. Mr. Unlimited.
Oh, maybe Justin Fields about to be Mr. Unlimited.
He's very limited in how he can throw.
They went from a trouble wide receiver to another trouble wide receiver.
Oh, let's not put DK Metcalf on George Pickens level now.
Well, no, but they're going. I want to say
there's not a level of that.
No, I want to say they have the both. I think DK Metcalf has the most penalties as a wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, but I'm fine with that. I mean, that's not George Pickens is a headache where he won't show up and play, Pedro, and he won't run the route that he's supposed to run and complain. They're not on the same wavelength of trouble. Right? Like DK, a guy that usually goes at it with cornerbacks, that's his main problem. He might get in a
DK Metcalf got sponsors.
Yes, exactly.
George Pickens.
George Pickens is an ignorant, ratchet-ass Negro, right? Like, it's not even close.
I don't know if he got any sponsorships.
DK Metcalf has never been suspended by his team. That's when it's bad. When you get suspended from your team, that's when it's bad, Pedro. Popeyes wouldn't sponsor George Pickens.
Shout out to George Pickens. Don't come on our show.
Yeah, that dude is ignorant, Pedro. I wouldn't even compare. There's only a couple of players you can compare George Pickens to, and it's usually the ones that get arrested in the offseason.
He's like, yeah, I've seen ourselves getting better. I see it. We're getting better. Does that give you optimism from next season? No.
Remember when they had him and Chase Claypool together? That was like the ignorant receiver group ever. Remember, Claypool was like, man, it would be great if we could play like hip-hop music during practice. That would make me work harder. And he was already known for not working in practice. He's talking like hip-hop music gonna make him work harder.
Well, you want to listen to that new Future album. That's what gets a lot of these kids going.
It's like, dude, you get paid. That's what makes you work hard. You get paid. This is your job.
Also, Josh Allen was given a extension of over $300 million over 6 years. I think it's $330. And Myles Garrett, who demanded a trade a couple weeks ago, got pickety paid. He's going to average being paid $40 million a year, the highest paid contract in history that's not a quarterback. Pedro, how do you feel about Myles Garrett staying in the 216? Was that overpay? Was that hush money?
probably was some hush money. I don't know what Cleveland's doing. I don't know the direction they want to go. I was optimistic about us picking up Deshaun Watson because I thought that would totally make a difference in the culture. You know, I didn't believe all the accusations against him because he was a freeman. That being said, I just want to see a guy with that much talent have a decent chance at becoming a champion. He's a tremendous talent, and I feel like just like what was it, offensive lineman Joe Smith, or what was his name?
Joe Batonio?
Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas.
Yeah. Joe Thomas. All that talent. Definitely a Hall of Famer.
No, I agree.
I don't want to see it wasted.
I want to see him be. I was kind of hoping he would be traded, and him signing this contract. I don't know if that makes it easier to trade him or harder. Maybe it makes it easier because the team will be like, okay, we'll trade because we have him under contract for the next so many years, instead of getting him at the end of a contract and not wanting to and then trying to negotiate. So this this could potentially make it easier to trade him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because he has a trade clause so he can control wherever he goes. I just want to see a gentleman like that when you that talented. And I hate to see wasted talent.
Yeah, trade him to the Cowboys. He'd be great.
Go to Cowboys. Yeah.
What if they sign Mr. Unlimited and it just changes everything, Pedro?
Mr. Unlimited is not taking us to no Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, so I do agree, though, Pedro. I think that it would be good if he got out of there. His talents will be wasted on a team that has thought they had something and then blew it all apart within a year and a half because it didn't pan out. And then they blew the load on something else that was just a terrible signing by trying to sign motherfucking Deshaun Watson. Which
blew a load on a guy that liked blowing his load.
That's that karma, Pedro. That's sports karma.
Jerry Jones blows his load on everything. He has 2 Super Bowls.
Cutty Corner Shoutouts. Cutty Corner Shoutouts. Cutty Corner Shoutouts is a segment in the show where everyone gets a chance to rant, complain, or highlight something positive in the world. Cutty Corner Shoutouts. Cutty Corner Shoutouts. It's time. Cutty Corner.
We're burning now. God, if you let it in, hell. So cold and bleeding now. I'm in for it, man. Gonna let you down. He had sex with my mama. We're broken people now. Doctor said I need a back.
AG3. Do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
I do. My Cutty Corner shout out goes out to cafes and brunch spots who don't have strong coffee on the days of time change. Like, keep the coffee coming. I shouldn't have to ask, and then you bring me one small cup, no cream. Just keep it coming. Keep the coffee coming. We had a time change. We all had to get up earlier than we usually are. Everybody's in there. Pour the coffee freely, man, and don't make it weak that day. Weakest coffee I had. Great brunch, weak coffee. And stop making the coffee drinks inside regular glass cups. Because by the time I get it up to my mouth, the shit's cold. Put it in a coffee mug, a thick coffee mug. I don't understand why people think that they want to be artistic and get some nice colored glass. And next thing I know, as soon as I pick up my coffee, it's cold as hell. Just put in a regular mug. Piping hot. Let me teach you a lesson. McDonald's coffee. Guess why? McDonald's coffee isn't that bad. You know why? Because they know this shit got to be piping hot. As soon as it start cooling off, it ain't as good. Make your coffee piping hot. That's all I ask for coffee places. Piping hot. Ever since Starbucks came off, nobody know how to make coffee no more.
I like lukewarm lattes. I like my lattes like I like my women's. Lukewarm. And overly sugary. Cam P-Funk, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
Oh, we at that part? You really must be ready to hit that coochie, ain't you?
You'll get some texts in a few hours. You'll know what I'm done when you start getting irregular internet texts.
Oh, Jesus. I had a couple. I want you to go first so I can refresh mine, Jared. I have to refresh my mind here real quick.
Okay.
He acting like his mind is a damn website that didn't pop all the way open.
Sometimes it don't.
My conspiracy, my Cutty Corner shout out goes out to the very real conspiracy of the elite class we have to worry about. These motherfucking oligarchs, tech barons. Y'all trying to buy up all the news sources. Y'all trying to buy up all the ways people commune with the world and normalize us communing through with the world through your screens and your internets, irregular and regular, commercial and consumerist. You're trying to shape our world to a point where we become just dependent cogs in your continued perpetual success. But I found somebody worse than you. Y'all heard about the soda barons?
I guess you want to call it a theory, but it lines up with everything. So even with Mountain Dew, every time, and that's the thing, not every flavor correlates with every event, but it seems to be like every time they make a big push with a certain flavor, it correlates with a certain event. So they had a flavor back in 2001 called Code Red. 3 months later, 9/11 happens. That's a Code Red. Maui Burst. That's a flavor. 3 months later, guess what's happened?
Fires in Maui.
Fires in Maui. Francis Scott Key Bridge, okay? Why did they have a flavor that released last year called Star Spangled Splash? Now, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key. So every time something happens, these flavors that they push out, and sometimes they're new flavors or they re-release them. They even had a flavor called Pitch Black, and I told people to watch for it. Then the IT thing
Everything
happened.
shut down.
That shut down. One big blackout.
Yep.
Yeah. So my other
gun, I'll shoot you and him right now. You and him right now. And then call up Mountain Dew and make a flavor called Kill a Nigga.
How the niggas be trying to sound intelligent.
That's the crazy
It's
thing.
so
Pedro.
intellectual. And I'm like, nigga, you talking about soda right now. You do realize that.
It's not about soda.
Mountain Dew is the Illuminati, y'all. Y'all better start recognizing, bro.
Mountain Dew.
My Cutty Corner shout out also goes out to the soda barons who are out here trying to shape our world in other ways, trying to give us clues and give us hints just for their own shits and giggles. My real Cutty Corner shout out just goes out to just all the dumb shit out there right now. Just a lot of dumb shit. And unfortunately, it's only probably going to get dumber. You know what I'm saying? There's a shred of hope that things won't get dumber, but things are going to get pretty dumb in the near future. So, you know, plan accordingly, be thoughtful, be active if you need to and can. I know AG3 is out here in solidarity with the brothers and sisters and not going to Target. Do your part.
I question myself every day. You don't understand. Every minute, I need some shit. I just think, God damn it, man. Fuck these pastors, man. I'm going to do it, but fuck these pastors, man. I'm over here not going to Target. Need shit that Target has in one place. I got to go to 3 different stores to get shit. I had to go to CVS to find the deodorant I like. I had to go to this place to get the goddamn toothpaste I wanted. Why couldn't they tell me they were going to do this shit so I could have went to Target ahead of time? Got a brother using Quilted Northern. I ain't used Quilted Northern in years. Ass is hurting. We used Charmin for 30 years and now my ass is hurting. All because these fools thinking they goddamn Martin Luther King, John Henry Clark, and Hella Belafonte. Oh man, we gonna redo the bus boycotts. What we gonna do next? Freedom rides. Freedom rides. Is Megabus still in charge? Megabus still around? Because we gonna do freedom rides.
Count P-Funk, do you have a Cutty Corner shout out?
I do. I kind of gave a hint out for our Black History Month. I want to get back to it just to clear the air. Piggybacking off of which your Cutty Corner shout out is, Jared, the conspiracy Negroes and everything. Our beautiful sister, soul sister, part of Sequence, Angie Stone, passed away in a tragic rollover accident. She rolled over 3 times. Her van rolled over 3 times, and then a truck hit her. And people on the internet was rushing to a video that she did talking about Columbia Records. I had the rights to her music, and I don't know. She said this is her quote unquote words herself. They own the rights to my music. I don't know, and I'm trying to fight to get my rights. I don't know what they're trying to do or what they're gonna do to me. And people rushed to find that saying and made it go viral. And the family itself, her daughter and her son and other family members, ask you Negroes, please, with the conspiracy theories. We are trying to grieve. You couldn't let that woman body was at the hospital, and y'all Negroes. Y'all Negroes rushed to the internet to go find that video where I hate that Angie B had said it. I hated that she said that. I really did. Because her catalog wasn't that large anyway, so I'm like, what was the sense of it? But I loved Angie Stone. I thought she was cool. She was soulful. She sung one of the songs of like More Than a Woman to Me. That's one of my favorite neo soul songs. Okay, I got a record right here, right next to me. I got a CD. And when they came with that conspiracy thing, didn't even let that woman. We wasn't even sure if she had passed away, and that was the very first thing they did is went to that video. Just because Negroes need a conspiracy. We can't even grieve no more because of the internet. People can't have an accident, pass away. I don't know where your rings are. And people can't pass away, and you can't even.
My sunshine has gone.
It's Pedro's karma.
Ain't no more rain in this cloud. Did you have a baby with D'Angelo?
Yes, she did have a baby with D'Angelo. That was the son. That was one of the. That's who said, "Can we breathe?" I think he was the first person that said.
What is my mahogany so out?
The Democrats showed up, many of them wearing pink, and then Al Green. I'm so tired of being alone. I'm so tired of... Not that Al Green. The representative Al Green would not sit down. And according to Lauren Boebert, was being disrespectful with his pimp cane in his hand.
Was that her exact words? See, that's what I'm telling you. If that's her, I mean, you got a video of this before I start speaking on this? Play me a video.
Let me find it. Oh, here it is right here. 1 second. Give me a second. She was none too pleased with the display by Al Green and had these words for him.
For him to go and shake his pimp cane at President Trump was absolutely abhorrent.
Yeah, she was not appreciative of that, AG3. What do you got to say about her?
That's why I like her. The fact that she knows a pimp cane is enough for me. See, that's the perfect amount. Lauren Boebert would bring in the perfect amount of race play into the bedroom. And the perfect amount, because it's like, okay, you know what? She's progressive enough to date a black guy, be seen in the public, hold hands probably, but she comes from a family that probably wasn't, right? That probably told her at one point, you know, don't ever bring a ninja into my household, things like that. So she knows the correct terminology. The problem is if I turn around and, you find one of these West Coast girls and, one of them loves you enough and she's willing to try race play, it's just tearing her up inside every time she says, she can't say it right. She won't put the hard ER on it and nothing, right? Nothing. You're sitting there and it's not, because, something about that word during race play that just make you stop. It's what it is? It's verbal Cialis. Verbal Viagra. That's what it is. And
it's verbal foreplay.
It's verbal during play. And it's just great. No, you don't want it too much before, Jared. It's when you start really getting involved. That's when you want
my toes, ninja.
Yeah, too much before. See, the problem with homegirl from Georgia, what's her name?
Who?
The
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's too much truth behind a woman from the South.
Yeah, she feels like she might yell it at you during CrossFit.
She might take it too far in bed. She might, next thing you know, she's like, she stopped using the ER and just start using a slave word. And, be like, hey man, go ahead. Yeah, I'm your mistress. Get your mistress pregnant.
So Lauren Boebert has just the right has the right amount of
Lauren Boebert got the
belief
right
behind it.
Yeah, I'm not upset by this.
She looks down on you, but she doesn't want to re-enslave you.
Exactly. I don't think she looks down on you. She wants those words to help us in bed. She wants those words to improve our bedtime. I like Lauren Boebert.
Shout out to Lauren Boebert. Come on our show. And
it's different in this video.
AG3 wants to take you to Spaghetti Factory.
Nah, I'll take it
Cheesecake Factory.
Take it someplace a little better than that. A Black Bear Diner. She might, Black Bear Diner. That's more up her alley.
You can have breakfast for dinner.
We'll have breakfast for dinner, and then go back, and go back to we'll rent a hotel across in Emeryville and just get loud and I want to hear the ER. I want it to be so bad that there's black people outside the door upset.